Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, I have to be honest. When I first looked at the stack of research you sent over for today's deep dive, I actually thought there was a typo.
A typo where? In the search data.
Yeah, in the search trends data. Because apparently thousands of people right now are Googling this very specific, kind of hilarious, but also sort of terrifying question.
I think I know which one you're talking about. The one about body shape.
It is. The question is, does having diabetes actually make you lose your butt?
It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? Like some weird internet meme.
Exactly.
But when you actually dig into the clinical papers, which is what we did, it's a gateway to some really complex science. We're talking neurology, metabolism.
Which is exactly why we're doing this. So the mission for today is to start there with that physical weirdness, fact or fiction.
Right.
But then we're going to zoom out. We are taking two of the biggest public health villains, smoking and sugar, and putting them in a death match.
A death match, I like that.
Yeah, we want to see which one actually kills you faster, according to the raw data.
And I think the answer is going to surprise people. We tend to just lump all bad habits together, right?
Oh, for sure.
We think, oh, I smoke, I eat cake, it's all just bad for me. But the data, especially when you look at the hazard ratios, tells a very, very different story.
And then finally, because we don't want to just scare everyone, we're going to apply what we're calling an engineering mindset to quitting both.
Yeah, debugging your habits instead of just, relying on willpower.
Exactly. So we've got clinical studies, mortality comparisons, behavioral psychology. It is a full stack today.
It is.
So let's start with the no-ass phenomenon. I'm sorry, I can't call it anything else. Is this a real thing? It's not just people imagining it?
No, it's real. But it's nuanced. What people are noticing is likely a specific complication.
Okay.
It's called proximal diabetic neuropathy. Or in the medical literature, you'll see it called diabetic amyotrophy.
Amyotrophy. Okay, break that down for me.
So amyotrophy literally means muscle wasting. And this isn't the kind of neuropathy most people have heard of.
Not the pins and needles in your feet.
Exactly not. This is different. This one specifically targets the lumbosacral plexus.
The lumbosacral plexus? That sounds complicated.
Think of it like the electrical grid for your lower body. It's a whole network of nerves in your lower back and pelvis.
And they power what?
They're the cables that supply power to your hips, your thighs, and, yes, your glutes.
Ah, okay.
So when blood sugar is out of control for a long time, it can damage those nerve roots.
Yeah.
And you know the rule in biology, use it or lose it.
So if the nerve stops sending the signal,
the muscle stops firing. And a muscle that doesn't fire, it shrinks. It atrophies.
What really stood out to me in the reading was how specific this is. It's not just, feeling weaker. It's sudden.
It can be very sudden. And here's the real telltale sign. It's usually unilateral.
Meaning on just one side of the body.
Exactly. You might wake up with severe pain in one hip, and then within weeks, you see visible muscle loss on that one side. It can create a really asymmetrical look.
That is genuinely terrifying. Is this something every diabetic needs to worry about?
No, thankfully. It's pretty rare. It affects maybe 1% of type 2 diabetics, usually men over 50.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Even if you don't have that specific nerve damage, diabetes can still change your body shape through something called sarcopenia.
And sarcopenia is just the technical term for muscle loss, right?
Right. But in diabetes, it's accelerated. Think of insulin as a construction foreman. It's an anabolic hormone. It tells your muscles to build and repair.
But if you're insulin resistant...
your muscles aren't getting that memo. They're basically starving for instructions.
So the body starts breaking down its own muscle for fuel.
That's a perfect way to put it. It goes catabolic.
Yeah.
And since the glutes are the biggest muscles in your body, that's where the loss is most obvious.
There was also this paradox in the research about fat storage that I found fascinating. It seems so unfair.
The cruel irony of it all, yeah.
You lose the muscle in your butt and legs, but you gain weight around your middle.
It's exactly that. When your metabolic health is poor, your body prefers to store fat viscerally. That's the dangerous fat, deep inside your abdomen wrapped around your organs.
Instead of subcutaneously under the skin.
Right. It stops putting it in the hips and thighs. So you get this very specific shape.
The apple on sticks shape?
Exactly. A heavier midsection, thinner legs, flatter rear. It's a visual warning sign. But, and this is so important, it is reversible. Or at least it's preventable.
So there's hope.
Absolutely. This is a complication of management, not a guarantee of the disease.
Yeah.
If you control your glucose and you lift heavy things, you can keep the muscle.
You have to send the signal yourself.
You have to.
Okay, so the look is a check engine light. Let's pivot now to total engine failure, the death match.
Right.
We hear this phrase all the time now, sugar is the new smoking. That's a great headline. But is it true? Does the mortality data actually back that up?
Bottom line, no, not even close. If we're looking at the hard data, what actually kills people and how fast? Sugar is bad. It gums up the works. But smoking is in a completely different league. It is an efficient killing machine.
Okay, let's look at the scorecard you pulled together. You focused on hazard ratios. Can you just, for anyone listening, quickly explain what a hazard ratio is?
Sure. Think of it as a risk multiplier. An HR of 1 means your risk is the same as a non-smoker. An HR of 2 means you have double the risk of dying at any given moment.
Got it. Okay, so where does smoking land on that scale?
For all-cause mortality, smoking has a hazard ratio somewhere between 1.3 and 1.8.
So 30 to 80% more likely to die.
Yes. But here's the really scary part. If we look just at cardiovascular death for heavy smokers, the HR jumps to over 2.
So you are literally doubling your risk of a heart attack every single day.
Every day, you are constantly flipping a coin with your heart.
And how does the new smoking sugar compare to that?
Well, looking at sugar-sweetened beverages. So, soda, energy drinks. Each daily serving raises your mortality risk by about 8%.
So a hazard ratio of 1.08.
1.08.
Wait a minute, 1.08 versus over 2.0, that's not even in the same ballpark.
It's an order of magnitude difference. It's
Yeah.
massive. And look at the absolute numbers. Smoking kills over 7 million people a year, directly.
Wow.
That's nearly 10% of all global deaths. Sugar kills millions too, but it's usually indirect. It leads to obesity, which then causes the fatal problem. Smoking it cuts out the middleman.
I really like the engineering analogy the sources used, because they don't damage the body in the same way, do they?
Not at all. If your body is a high-performance engine, smoking is like throwing gravel into the intake.
Catastrophic component failure.
Exactly. You're inhaling 7,000 chemicals, 70 known carcinogens. It actively shreds the lining of your arteries. The engine doesn't just run poorly, it explodes.
Whereas sugar is more like bad fuel.
It's like using the wrong grade of fuel for 20 years. It creates sludge. That's the plaque, the high triglycerides.
Oh.
It causes gradual wear and tear. The engine will eventually seize up, but it takes decades.
And the cancer link is really the final nail in the coffin for smoking, isn't it?
It is. Smoking is a direct mutagen. It directly mutates your cell's DNA. Sugar doesn't do that.
Right. Sugar might make you obese, and obesity is a risk factor, but it's not the sugar molecule itself causing the cancer.
Precisely. A sugar molecule isn't going into your nucleus and breaking your DNA strands like the chemicals in a cigarette do.
That is such a crucial distinction. Okay, let's move to the how-to part, but first we have to clear away some myths.
Please.
The first one drives me crazy, the salt hack. I've seen this online, people saying, eat salt to lower your blood sugar.
Yeah, we need to bury that one immediately. It's dangerous.
Is there any basis for it at all?
It's actually the opposite of the truth. High salt intake impairs your insulin sensitivity. It makes your cells resist insulin's message.
So it makes things worse.
Much worse. Studies show high salt intake can increase your risk of type 2 diabetes by up to 40%. And just think about the behavior loop. You eat a bag of salty chips, what's the next thing you do?
You get thirsty and grab a soda.
Exactly. It's a compounding cycle of bad habits, so no, salt is not a hack.
Okay, myth number 2, the chill smoker. The person who says, I know it's bad for me, but it's the only thing that calms my anxiety.
Right. I just need a smoke to calm down.
Everyone knows someone who says this, and they believe it.
They believe it because it feels true. But it's a chemical illusion. And you have to understand this illusion if you ever want to quit. Your brain is lying to you.
So what's actually happening in the brain when they light that cigarette?
Nicotine hits the brain, you get a spike of dopamine, a little hit of, that's better. But your brain wants balance, so it starts to downregulate. It literally destroys its own pleasure receptors to cope.
So your baseline level of happiness and calm actually drops over time.
Precisely. So the nicotine wears off. You go into withdrawal. You feel anxious, irritable. Then you smoke again, and that anxiety goes away.
And you think the cigarette relaxed you.
But all it did was return you to the normal, calm state that a non-smoker lives in all the time.
That is so depressing. It's like wearing shoes that are too tight just so you can feel the relief of taking them off.
That's the perfect analogy. You are treating the withdrawal, not the anxiety.
Okay, let's get practical. An engineering guide to quitting. If I'm listening and I do both, I smoke and I eat too much sugar, where do I start?
You always quit smoking first. The return on investment, the ROI, is just massive.
The biggest lever to pull.
By far. Your mortality risk drops by 50% within a decade of quitting. Nothing else even comes close. You have to stabilize the engine before you worry about the fuel grade.
And the advice was not to fight a war on two fronts.
No. Willpower is a finite resource. It gets tired. If you try to quit smoking and go on a strict diet in the same week, you will fail at both. Quit the smoke. Eat the donut if you have to in that first week. Just don't light up.
Okay, so method. The sources were really, really harsh about going cold turkey.
Yeah. Look, if an engineer designed a bridge with a 95% failure rate, would you drive on it?
Absolutely not.
That's cold turkey. It has about a 5% success rate. We need to use better tools.
So what's the heavy artillery? What actually works?
The gold standard in the data is combination therapy. A medication called varenicline, or Champix, is very effective. It blocks the nicotine receptors, so smoking just doesn't feel good anymore.
And if you don't want to go the prescription route?
Then you need to combine nicotine replacement therapies and use them correctly. Most people don't.
How so?
They just carry gum and chew a piece when they start to panic. That's too late. You need a patch for a steady baseline of nicotine to prevent the mood swings.
And then the gum.
Then you use the gum or a lozenge for the sharp breakthrough cravings. Using both together doubles your success rate.
I also liked the simple 4Ds hack for when that craving hits.
It works because a craving is just a wave. It only lasts 3 to 5 minutes. You just have to ride it out.
So delay.
Tell yourself maybe in 10 minutes. Deep breaths. Drink water slowly. And do something else.
Yeah.
Anything to occupy your hands and your mind.
Interrupt the loop.
Just disrupt the pattern.
Okay, so once the smoke is gone, a few months later, we can debug the sugar habit. The approach here seemed different, more about tapering off.
It is different. You don't need nicotine to survive, but you do need to eat. So for sugar, it's about weaning yourself off a bad fuel mix. The withdrawal is milder, maybe a few days of headaches.
So what's phase one? The first step.
Liquid sugar. That's the low-hanging fruit. Sodas, juices, those fancy coffees with 600 calories. Don't even worry about the food yet. Just stop drinking your sugar.
That alone must make a huge difference.
It's massive. You can easily cut 100 grams of sugar a day just by doing that.
And phase two?
You fix your breakfast, your boot-up sequence. Most people start the day with a huge glucose spike cereal, toast, juice. Then they crash an hour later and crave sugar all day.
So swap that for what?
Protein and fat. Eggs, avocado, nuts, plain yogurt. If you stabilize your blood sugar in the morning, the whole rest of the day gets easier. You aren't fighting your own biology at 3 p.m.
I think the most valuable part of that whole section was how to handle a relapse. Because normally, if I'm on a diet and I eat a donut, I spiral.
Of course. You feel like a moral failure. You think, well, the day's ruined, and then you eat the whole box.
Exactly. The shame cycle.
Right. An engineer doesn't look at a broken machine and say, you're a bad machine.
Yeah.
They say, why did this fail?
So it's data, not a moral judgment.
Exactly. You analyze the bug. I ate the donut. Why? Oh, I skipped lunch and I was stressed. The fix isn't be a better person. The fix is eat a bigger lunch or go for a walk when you feel stressed.
Just patch the code.
You patch the code and you run the program again. You iterate.
That is such a healthier way to approach it. Okay, let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways for everyone listening?
3 main things. 1, if you have diabetes, your muscles are at risk, but it is manageable. Lift weights, control your glucose. 2, in the deathmatch of vices, smoking is the undisputed champion. It breaks the engine. Sugar just makes it run dirty. Quit the smoke first.
And a third?
Salt is not a blood sugar hack. Just put the shaker down.
I want to leave our listener with one final thought from the notes. It was about that confusion between relief and genuine happiness. It really stuck with me.
Yeah, the idea that we so often mistake the removal of a pain for the presence of a joy. The smoker thinks the cigarette brings them pleasure, when really it just temporarily stops the pain of withdrawal.
It's a profound difference.
It is. So the question to leave you with is, where else in your life are you just maintaining a withdrawal cycle? With your phone, with food, with anything. What are you doing just to feel normal again? And what would it look like to actually build a life where you don't need to constantly treat the symptoms of your own habits?
That's a heavy one to chew on. Go debug your code, everyone. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.